Hello and welcome. This is Kerbal Space Program, and today we are going to start our quest to adventure into the stars, to the moon and beyond. We're on planet Kerbin. We've got a bunch of little dudes called Kerbals. We're going to build some spaceships, probably some planes, because I quite like the planes in this. And who knows where else we'll go. Probably into a ball of flames a lot of the time. Because we're not the best at this game, but we'll try our hardest. I've got a hell of a lot of mods on. I'll try and remember to put them all in the description below, so you guys can see exactly what I've got on. It's all sorts of part packs, mission packs, tech tree changes, and all this sort of stuff. So we're going to start, and what have we got? Okay, so this one looks like a really good starter. Just reach an altitude of 18 kilometers. Let's take that. And we can take 3. So we can take this one, a manned altitude of 18 kilometers. And we'll take this one for now then as well. Escape the atmosphere to get to at least 70 kilometers. That's a few things we can build towards. So we're going to start off and we're going to build ourselves a basic rocket. I got it. It's going to be a basic rocket, and it's also going to harvest some science for us. So let's have a look. What do we start with? So I think this is like unmanned before manned pack. So we don't. If you look, we don't actually have any manned capsules to begin with. So we've got to pick one of these probe bodies. We've got a cheaper one and a more expensive one. One's got a lot more charge. Let's just start with the cheap one right now. We don't need anything particularly fancy to begin with. It's going to need an engine, obviously. I'm just going to see what parts we've got. We've got like a little adapter. So we've got a fin and a nose cone. That's very handy. We have a small battery. We have some aerials. We have a little bit of sciencey stuff, which we'll get to in a minute. And a camera. Huh, right, okay. Oh, so we could do that adapter. That's handy. We start with that. Right, so this is basic rocket number 1, essentially. We need a nose cone on. And we might as well give it some fins, right? What's our part count? We start with 30, we got loads of parts, that's fine. So we'll go down and we're going to install a little bit of sciencey stuff on there. We only want maybe 2. In fact, no, we'll just start with 1. Thermometer there, and we'll have a barometer at the other side. Hopefully it doesn't. Hopefully that's not heavy enough for it to. Oh, it's the same weight anyway, so. I'm going to call this. It's a probe. We should call it probe 1 for now. What are we going to call it? We're going to call it probe 1. The hopper. Because it's literally just going to do like a little hop. I'll save that. Actually, what I will do is, rather than having to click on these, we can assign our science experiments to custom action groups. So that's just like 1 to 9 on the keyboard, and then I can press those without having to like right click on the actual rocket itself. Let's just save that again, and we will launch the hopper for our first space mission. So here we are on the launch pad. tiny little rocket. You can see the flag I picked in the background. I got a few flag packs, and that just jumped out to me. A smiley face. I'm down for that. So yeah, we'll put SAS on so it's stable. I don't think we really need it, to be honest. In fact, I'll take it off because I like to see how straight it flies on its own. What we can do before it actually takes off, I don't think. What's Kerbal? What's this? Oh, has this got a? Oh, is this ScanSat, but like in the game now? Okay. What we can do is we can take a temperature reading from the runway. We can't transmit because we don't have an aerial, but we can keep those experiments. So we've got some scientific data from that. In fact, temperature readings are quite nominal, so that will give us 0.9 science, but we'll keep that. And what did the barometer say? Collected recordings, collected and recorded atmospheric pressure data from the surroundings. 0.9 science as well. But without further ado, let's fire our first rocket off. Oh. Look at that, we went 800 and something meters per second. That's pretty quick. I've just realised something. Well, I took the science readings and then we're not going to get them back up because we don't have a parachute. Well, that was our first blunder on our very first rocket. It's kind of worth doing though because we got some cash. Do feel a bit stupid, I'll be honest. But let's speed it up and watch this rocket crash back into the ground. Oh, oh no, I thought it was heading straight for the bunker then. Well, at least we get to see an explosion within the first few minutes of this video, which is good. Oh. Well, you know what? Technically, it didn't explode. So we did get a bit more cash for returning to the surface. What we can do is we can grab the hopper and we can launch another one. And from here, we can... if I don't even do that, do I can take that, and then I can recover the vessel. So this time we'll get that science and we don't lose any cash because the thing's not destroyed. We gained a science. Wow, is that all we got? One science? Jesus. That's a bit bleak, isn't it? We 4 for Engineering 101. So all the science is going to be in the atmosphere. So what we could do is we can edit the hopper, right? And we can put the more expensive probe body in there because this has got an internal antenna. The fuck? Alright, let's find a new one. What we'll do is we'll make it around this instead. Because this has an internal probe. Does that have a science experiment, log temperature? Beautiful, so it's got a thermometer in it as well. That's really handy. Oh, it's a bit chunky, hang on. Let's put the nose cone on top like that. Oh, we need the adapter, don't we? Now this way, I'm hoping we get a lot more science. So off we go. Transmit that. Transmit the pressure data. This was leaning back, which is interesting. I don't know whether we'll get a second lot of data up here. No. We've got up to 10,000 meters, which is pretty cool. It is pretty much a straight up, straight down again. I was going to see if I could sort of float over to the grasslands. Use a little bit of momentum, but I don't know. Maybe. I'm really bad at perspective though, so to be fair, that's going to be a really bad skill for this game, being bad at perspective. But yeah, come down quite a bit short. That just literally just buried itself in the ground, didn't it? That's fine by me. So we do now have 6 science, which means we can take Engineering 101. It gives us a service bay, which can be handy, some battery packs, some lamps, an accelerometer, which is good because that's more science. Beautiful, we'll take that. And structural parts for 1 point. Yeah, we'll take these because these can be very handy, just having girders and little adapters. They can be quite handy, so we are going to take that. Oh, we only need 4 for stability. Oh, we could make a basic plane actually, if we get another 3 science, that's totally doable. So yeah, we're going to try and do that. First though, we need to get to 18,000 because I think there's some more science at 18,000. And the way we're going to do that, just take these parts off for now, is we're going to go for... Oh. Huh, right, okay, I've got an idea. Right, so we come back and I've now got another rocket design, hoping to take us a little bit further into the air. We've got the flea as we did before. It's essentially the same body with an accelerometer, plus 2 of these RT3 SRBs, these solid rocket boosters. I couldn't have any sort of vertical staging, so I couldn't have like one of these rockets on top of another one, which I wanted to be able to have them side on side. So they're all just going to fire at the same time. Or do they actually? Yeah, let's not actually. We're going to mess around with our first sort of staging, just to sort of show you how it goes, and because I think I might get a little bit more height doing this. So we're going to fire these 2 rockets first, and then when they run out, we'll switch to this big rocket. And the hoping is that the 2 small rockets just get me that little bit further off the ground, closer to that 18,000, and then we should also get some accelerometer data. After this flight, I'm hoping we should be able to make a space plane. Well, it's not going to be a space plane for a long time. I've never made a space plane. So let's give this a go. Actually, First we'll take some accelerometer data. Wow, that gives us 6 science. That's really handy. Oh, we are bleeding electric charge as well. We have to. Let's take off. We can. Oh, we can only take accelerometer data when we're stationary, apparently. That's okay. So this first one's got us up a couple of thousand meters, which doesn't seem like a lot, but it can really, really, really make the difference. I don't think we're going to get to 18,000. I tell you what though, we're not that far off. Oh, are we going to get there? We might just do it. Hey, we did it. And that means we get more science. That's a mod I forgot to install. There is a mod called Crowdsource Science, which gave you the flavor text for the experiments was a little bit nicer. I'll see if I can go and find that. So we got some bonus science, some reputation, and some cash for completing our mission. We got to 22 kilometers. Wow. 24. We've got a land distance record as well. Now this thing I think will come over the grasslands, and that might actually get us a little bit more cheeky science. Yes, as on the way down. We're going to get some temperature data for over the grasslands. Oh, no, don't want to do that. Oh, god damn it. I've accidentally stored the data. Where is it? Log temperature. Let's beam that back before the whole thing goes kaboom. Sadly, we don't get any pressure scans for the different biomes. I wonder why I'm slowing down as I hit the earth, rather than speeding up. Is it just because I'm encountering more atmospheric pressure? I don't know. Maybe someone could tell me. Or maybe I could Google it like an adult. Ah, proper explosion. Yeah, we should be able to build a little plane anyway, so this plane is going to be just our little science plane, essentially. We've only got tiny little Juno engines, but we'll make this work. We'll make this work. I have made this preliminary design for what would be our science ship, our science plane, sorry. I've not put anything on it yet for science equipment. I've just built the basic rig, just to see if it'll fly. I've got 8 parts to play around with. Flatter than with these wings, need to be bent a little bit more. Centre of gravity looks good and everything like that. I've had to put these canards in the front because of having these small under barrel engines. I've got to tweak everything, so I could have put the engine behind, but we don't really have any intakes suitable for that yet and stuff. And plus I didn't want to tweak engine sizes with tweakable everything. I feel that's a bit cheaty. I want to stick to the engines that the game gives me, sort of thing. Again, I don't know. See, the canards are lower than the wings. I don't know. Let's just give this a shot. Let's launch. I am pretty good at, once I get planes in the air, flying them. I just seem to have a really bad time taking off with planes, especially when you have a shitty runway like this. Oh, I forgot about the shit runway. Right, let's put the brakes on first. A few more things we need to remember now. So we have throttle control, which we've not had in our solid rockets, because they just burn all the fuel at once. So we're going to put SAS on, so that's stability control. Just give everything a press to make sure everything seems to be working. Hit the space bar. Turn the lights off. I don't know the lights are on. Turn the brakes off. I don't like how rickety this runway is. Seems like we're going to take off though. Hit G. Just pull back the throttle a little bit. Oh, that was a lot smoother than I thought it was going to be, guys. Ooh. Okay. Let's, she spins. She flies, Captain. She turns pretty damn sharp as well. Oh, I think this literally might be one of the best planes I've ever made. Wow. As far as like stable goes, what's the why have we got a thing in the distance? Ooh, getting a bit low there. Let's go and fly over to this thing, 8 kilometers away. Is this where we crashed? Yeah, this is brilliant. Everything seems to be flying pretty sweet. I mean, I'm honking it quite a bit. I probably need to install. I've got Kerbal Engineer, so we can install that. Because oh, getting near the speed of sound. Let's just slow down. We're coming up hot on this thing. Way too quick. Well, let's give it a pass round. I'm really impressed with how this is handling. Everything I usually make handles like dog shit. I think. I can't lose Jebediah Kerman like that, guys. I'm sorry. From here on in, it's going to be permadeath.
They was the talk of the town, and when the band was playing, that hesitation you could hear her